as someone who went from being like this really introverted kid, really didn't want to talk to people, was scared to talk to people, I met my best friend out of nowhere, and he invited me over, and like he's not with me anymore, but I think about him every day and the impact he had on me. And that's not even like anything romantic. That's just my best friend.
Looking for your player too? Welcome to the Date Like a Nerd podcast, where your gamer skills, dice rolls, and cosplay are your greatest dating assets. I'm Alex, and I'm a dating coach who helps shy, introverted nerds find their player two organically. I've interviewed hundreds of nerds and learned what really works. Here we skip the just be confident cliches and get real about how nerds actually meet their player two. Are you ready? Hi everyone, I'm Alex, and I help shy, introverted nerds get over their fears and anxieties to find their player two. Today I bring you Peter, aka Belmont. The idea is to address some of your questions, dispel some myths, and hear about the many different ways that nerds can find real relationships. Pete, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Often people say oh, I don't know where to meet someone. My hobbies are single player video games, watching anime, reading books. And well, sure, maybe you are not going to find someone doing those specific things. But if you open your mind a bit to similar things, okay, you like fantasy, okay, play D&D. Or you like anime, go to conventions, do cosplaying, right? You like video games, go to, I don't know, either a convention or maybe just get into esports, right? Go to a competition.
You're in, you could go to places where people are playing video games at the bar now. There's Barcade in New York City. There's locations where they have computer setups. You could go and hang out and all the nerds who grew up in the 2000s have grown up into full adults, and this is the stuff they want to do for fun.
Yeah.
There's magic rooms you could go to just to play magic. You could go and watch Gilby movies, which everyone loves, and be like, hey, I like anime. Maybe this is something you'd like to like as well. I like Gilby. It just do what you enjoy. And I think I say this to one of my friends a lot. I'm like, don't worry about meeting someone. Worry about having a good time. And then you'll see someone else and be like, hey, do you want to talk about this? I'm having a good time. You're having a good time. It's a vibe. You gotta be on the same wavelength in order for you to even get to know someone, because you're never going to approach them and be like, hey, there's never going to be a movie where hey, you want to get a drink. It's most people will look at you and be like, who the hell are you, dude? You're some kind of creep who just approached me. So it's stuff like that, which I definitely have seen in real life too. People try to do that. I'm like, why would you try to approach that person like that? But that's okay.
I actually have one episode where so from when I was 14 until I was 21 or so. So for 7 years, I was a paying member of my local Tolkien association. And I got some of my friends from that time to just talk about it, right? And we were saying how almost all of us dated someone from the group, from the community, except for the people who went there looking to hook up.
Really? Yeah.
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 Because it doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't. Because it's the intention seems so disingenuous to be that way. It's oh, I'm just looking to get laid. I'm it shows. You get the vibe for the person. It's always you always get a feeling off someone, regardless if you believe in that or not. Get that feeling where someone's not really there to meet you or learn who you are or get to know you. It shows. It shows. It always does.
Yeah. Look, it's not even that woo-woo or anything, but it's just and we were saying this during the interview. There was this one of the guys who was doing this. I would say the main one that we remember. He would come and I would be talking to her. He would come and he would start talking to her without even recognizing I was there. Right.
Yeah, that's horrible.
It's nothing woo-woo. It's nothing oh, the energy. It's this guy's completely ignoring me. She's my friend, and he's just talking to her. Right. And that's you're not.
And let me ask you, did she notice that?
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
We all noticed it.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Everybody did.
You can't hide intent like that, especially that type of intent. You can't. It's just.
Yeah.
Be straightforward. Be hey, this is really what I'm looking for. But at the same time, it gives everyone a weird vibe. They're well, if that's all you're looking for, then what kind of conversation can I have with you any further than that? Can't.
Yeah. It's also not the place.
No.
We're here to talk about Lord of the Rings. We're here to talk about fantasy. We're here to just even, at least in my case, I have no memory for lore, whatsoever. But I want to meet with people who like the same things that I do. Right.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, look, I'm one of those individuals who has like a disgusting amount of lore in his head, like talking like dates and shit in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I would never go up to someone and like expect them to have that type of knowledge. And I would love to hear, but I love to hear from someone what they think of the books or the movies or their favorite character. I'm like, all right, so let's talk about this. This is great. You like this character? Why? Like, okay, tell me. And like, ask those questions. Like, find those connections like that instead of being like, hey, are you single? Do you like Lord of the Rings? It's like, what does that even mean? It's like,
I,
you trying to sell me something? Like,
I have this collection of books that
yeah, right. Like, yeah, so do I, dude.
actually
Like,
I would love to. I would love to dive deeper into that because, like, I have seen, and even like within our community, within our Tokyo Association and elsewhere, I have seen people who are like you're saying, like they have lots of lore in their head and they want to talk about it, and in their minds, the only way to talk about the thing is if they can talk about like dates and who's the son of whom, who won the battle of whatever, right? And some of the advice that I usually give is even if the other person doesn't really know, either know as much as you do, or maybe they like something different that you do, right? Like you can say the questions that you're saying, like, what do you think about that? Why do you like this? Regardless of what topic it is.
like when you're talking to someone in conversation, it should just flow. Like, hey, I like Lord of the Rings. Well, yeah, well, I like Lord of the Rings too, but I always thought like, why didn't they take the Eagles? Well, there's a couple reasons why, at least I thought. And then it was like, it strikes up a conversation though, is my point.
Yeah.
You could use your knowledge to create a situation that's more friendly for someone else, where now it makes it where they like you spark their interest a little. Everyone's seen Lord of the Rings. Everyone knows what the series is. Everyone knows what Naruto is. Everyone knows what Dungeons and Dragons are. There's so much interesting nuance and information and all those nerdums, and like even Star Wars, man. Talking about the expanded universe versus like what's canon now, so much fun to talk about. You want to really get a Star Wars nerd going? Bring up Gray Jedi. They lose their shit. But like, stuff like that. My point being is that like you can take these topics. These topics are now mainstream. Don't be scared to be yourself. I'll tell you right now, if a woman wants to be with a guy who is not interested in that and like is interested in say sports or going to the gym or making money or trading or whatever else, they'll go find that guy. All right. And I think that's what a lot of people have to consider too. If a woman or a man or anyone between like, wanted to be somewhere else, they would be. And I think that's what people need to start realizing is that like you shouldn't take away your own confidence because you're not sure if someone else is going to be interested. If they're not, move on.
Yeah.
No biggie.
And it's like, and that has nothing to do with you. Like them exactly. Not being to same thing as you are, like that has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Period. Not at all. Not at all. It should not reflect your own. It shouldn't reflect your character if someone turns you down, because one, that's not your choice. And that's not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of who they are. And it doesn't have to be negative or positive. Just be like, hey, this isn't who my personality works with. And that's okay. Move on. I mean, look at it like applying like jobs. I know this is a crazy thing to do, but like nowadays they tell you like, you get rejected. Don't want it to deter you. Go apply for another job. Just like if you get deterred and like making an advance, it doesn't mean that that person is the only person in the world. No, and she now or he is now a reflection of everyone else in the world. No, you got to go meet someone else. Go be yourself. Yeah. Go out there and keep pursuing what you love. I hear it all the time where people like, I knew a friend who moved to California and she knew nobody, 0 people out there, but she liked biking. She was a cyclist. Met her future husband biking. So it's like stuff like that. It's important. It's important to meet like-minded people, but it's also important to like acknowledge that you're your own person and like someone else's opinion or reaction isn't going to define who you are, define how you move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you kind of like, I mean, you went straight into like, you like Lord of the Rings, yes, and you went straight into it, but sometimes it's like you mentioned Lord of the Rings and they don't respond or they don't care about it and you can just move on with something else. There's no need to like apologize or anything. It's like, I like Lord of the Rings. And what is the reaction?
What if someone just flat out says like, I don't like Lord of the Rings? I'm like, oh, why?
Yeah,
exactly. Now we have a conversation.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to hate you. I mean, At least not out loud.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I would never. There's plenty of
I'm not
people who
gonna
hate
ju-
Lord of the Rings.
I always say, like, I don't judge people out loud. It's
No.
just internal. So it's fine. Um,
A little bit. No, I think it's
Exactly.
fine. It's a fun conversation to ask someone like, why don't you like Lord of the Rings? They're like, well, I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I'm like, well, did you know that like half these characters were named after Lord of the Rings characters? They're like, no, I didn't. I'm like, well, now you do. So, or we can talk about Winds of Winter, you know, or lack thereof.
and even like, I mean, we've been talking about like all the nerdy stuff, but I do want to like clarify, like, you build your relationships not just over nerdy stuff.
No, not at all.
Like at some point, the conversation goes to other stuff, other sides of your life.
I think you want to know what I really think builds relationships the best is just comedy, laughing. Laughing is the most important thing. You like, yeah, you can laugh about nerdy stuff or you laugh about everyday stuff. Just laughing, being happy is so important. Like I was such a serious person growing up, and to the point where it was like standoffish. People thought I didn't want to talk to me. You know, just like something had changed to me. I was just like, I don't want to take things so serious anymore. You don't like, and I think that is a big part too. There are things to be taken serious. Trying to go out there and be friendly with someone and like meet someone, don't be so serious. It's not a serious thing. Because if you're not happy in what you're doing, someone gonna really want to come through and sit in misery with you? No, probably not. That's my point.
What changed with you that you said you were so serious, and then you were like, don't want to be like this? Like, what was the change? What happened?
I was always kind of a loner. Not like I was very antisocial. I was one of the youngest of five. I never was really communicative. I was like, you know, if my other siblings got something, I got something. But I just was like, I was so serious and trying to like, because I grew up in an area where like I was pretty wealthy town. My family's not wealthy. And so it was like a weird dynamic. You get insecure, you get quiet. I think around high school, I was just like, probably like end of middle school, like beginning of high school, I was just like, dude, I thought to myself, like, I don't really want to be this person. I'm like, I don't want to feel alone. And I remember going out to Starbucks to get a cup of hot chocolate, and I ran into two friends there. We weren't friends, but they were in my chess club. I play chess. And they were like, yo, you want to play chess with us? We see you in the club. And I was like, you know what? I really don't have plans. Like, yeah, I'll play you chess. And we played for like 4 hours or something like that. And we had a blast. And we were like, then they were like, yo, you want to go play Counter-Strike on Xbox? And I'm thinking in my head, like, who plays Counter-Strike on Xbox? But we went over there, we hung out, we stayed up like all night at my friend's house. And like, dude, we were like inseparable after that. It was like my two friends, Charlie and Travis. And like, we were straight inseparable. We were doing everything together. But then, you know, it wasn't just like playing games. We were going out, like, because we were like nerds. We were like, yo, we want to go out. We would go to like metal shows, you go to like concerts, and we'd just like rove the streets and like, and like that helped me build having friends around me who wanted to uplift me helped a lot. It was like putting myself out there where it's like, I went to Starbucks on a random night on a Friday, like everyone else is out of my friends doing their thing. I just wasn't really digging it. And like, you know, I met my people there just by saying yes, you know, being a yes man a little bit. And I think that's important where it's like, oh, go on. I'm sorry.
Being a yes man with something that you liked. So being a yes man with chess. Like,
well, yes, but being a yes man with being open to hanging with like someone and like, or being open to a situation. And I don't mean like you say yes to everything. Like, I want to clarify that obviously, because that's a dangerous thing too. But like saying yes to things that make you feel good. Like it felt good to play chess. It felt good to be invited to play chess. You know, you should like, you know, with reason, always everything with reason. But like, if you're in a situation where you're like, hey man, I'm really digging these people, I want to stay, just stay. Or be like, you know, if you're like, I really like you people as friends, I want to get to know you, say it aloud. Be like, yo, do you know how much it means to people to hear that? Or like compliment, because it just doesn't have to be like, hey man, I really appreciate you. I like who you are. I like hanging out with you. Can we do it again? Do you know how much like that gets someone's heart fluttering, regardless if you're like the most serious or like the most masculine man, whatever you want to define it as? Dude, everyone loves a compliment because it's so lacking thereof. It's so lacking because I find that in today's world, like we have all these internet communities, but there's a lack of like intimacy with them a lot of the time. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard, but sometimes, and this is my one piece of advice I'll try to leave here, is that like, you know, you shouldn't be scared to feel good about like, you know, yourself. So if someone like compliments you, accept that compliment someone else, make someone's day. It makes such a difference for someone who's having the worst day to be like, to have someone come and be like, hey man, think you look really fly today. Your shoes are killing it. Like and all of a sudden they're like, their whole mood changed. They're like, oh, I look fly today. At least one person thinks that besides myself. All right, I can take on this day. And that's what it is. Cause it's always a battle. Like every day, if relationships, work, family, friends, whatever, it's always an upward battle of whether, you know, you choose to get brought down by it. You choose to be in a mood. But really, if you sit there and you start trying to uplift others, they're going to do the same for you. You're going to build this rapport with them that's like, you know, friendly, happy, engaging, you know, driving, where it's like, you know, we're driving each other to be better people. That's super important to me when it comes to relationships. You should always push each other to be better. You know, if you see a friend doing something that, you know, it isn't really positive for them, point it out. Be like, yo, man, is this the best choice for you right now? Like, we only have each other. And in the end, if we kind of deny that to ourselves, we do a disservice as humans. Being that, like, you know, do a disservice with ourselves and how our growth is and who we grow into as people, or who we are as people. I don't know.
Yeah. I really like that, because at the beginning of the interview, you were saying how like you are like super outgoing and talking to everybody and socializing and stuff. But I really like that you mentioned like the transition, right? Like you were not like that. And the sort of like the main factor that you mentioned is making friends, right? Because that's, I always get annoyed when people say just be yourself, because people who have not had that transition, they're like, well, myself, I'm like shy, I'm serious, I don't talk to people, etc. But what I find is, and this is something that I noticed editing one of the episodes about the Tolkien Association, was that at one point I was like, yeah, like the forum of the association, it was like everybody was very extroverted, and my friend was like, well, actually everybody it was full of introverts. And yes, both. We were all introverts, but between ourselves, we were very extroverted because we were comfortable.
Yeah, and a good example is like, you know, this last weekend, we all went to see the live concert of Tolkien at Radio City Music Hall. And it was like a bunch of Tolkien creators in a house. There was like 12 of us. Oh, we had so much fun because we're just all nerding out. We're like quoting the movies. And we're like, at what point me and my friend are talking about the heights of the hobbits and what like Merry and Pippin ended up being because they were under 5 feet, but over 4 feet after drinking Ent-Drought. And like, you got one of my friends sitting there and she's like reading her book. It's Kaya. She's reading the book. Like, I'm like, this is so much fun because like we know what we're talking about. Everyone like knows the subject. So like one of us is looking up the facts. The other is like looking it up on
fact checking.
Yeah, but that's what we do. We make content and like we're just having so much fun. We're to the point where you have we had like 12 content creators, all right, in there. Like we had Middle Page, we had Kelly, we had Barda, we had like a bunch of people. Ex Libra Miranda, you know, she does Tolkien Tuesday. None of us made any content with each other. Not one piece of content. And it was like something we called out at the start, like back in November, we were making plans for this. They're like, we're all going to be getting together. We're probably going to make content, but watch, none of us are going to end up making content together. It was so like that's exactly how it went down. None of us even worried about it. We were playing Magic the Gathering. We stayed up to like 3 a.m. a lot of times. Like we were being bad, dude. We were just laughing the whole time. I have not laughed that hard in a long time. But like there was no concern about like relationships or, you know, this or any of that. You know, Kaya brought her partner. She was awesome. She's really into Star Wars. And like, yeah, it's just people just going out there and enjoying who they are, enjoying life. And with life, you know, comes growth, and with growth and life comes meeting new people who want to share that journey with you. It's like super crazy. You look at it as a tree. You know, we all are growing up, but then we meet these things on the side and we go on these side quests and we meet these individuals who grow off us. They grow their own branches and they're either sturdy or they're flimsy. Depends on the relationship you build with them, how much nutrients you provide to that tree. And like, it's a good story because there's Leaf by Niggle too. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's Tolkien's story about creation and like being a creative person. And like, you know, the person's constantly like, oh, you know, he's so critical of themselves, thinks everyone is so critical of them, so critical of their work. But really, once the work was completed, well, not really completed because it's like work over time and how we dedicate ourselves to our work. In truth, it was never like that. It's all an inward perspective. Our greatest fears are our own creation. And like, that's easy for me to say because I still have my fears. I still suffer from things. It's easy to fall into those traps. But like when it comes to like meeting friends and growing as a person, like you're the only person who's going to hold you back. And like no one else is going to help you. There are people who will, if you ask for help, be like, hey man, I could use some help. But if you're just out there and you're like, no one's going to help me, I'll never figure this out, you won't till you break that barrier down for yourself. And like as someone who went from being like this really introverted kid, really didn't want to talk to people, was scared to talk to people, I met my best friend out of nowhere, and he invited me over and we started watching music videos on MTV2. And then we realized we liked all this other stuff. We started playing EverQuest and MMO together. We started playing Counter-Strike together. He's the one who gave me my first Lord of the Rings book. And like, he's not with me anymore, but I think about him every day and the impact he had on me. And that's not even like anything romantic. That's just my best friend. And like, if you're looking for the romantic level though, the partner's always going to want to see someone who's willing to try new things and grow, No one, and like that, no one wants to be stagnant. I don't think that's an intent of anyone to be stagnant. I just think it's something that naturally comes along when we get stuck in positions that either we feel placated in or we just kind of accept this is no way to change. Humans do their best when they're out of their comfort zone. And until you find your way of getting out of there while still feeling confident, you're always going to get pulled back into that comfort zone. So.
Yeah, I love it. Pete, thank you very much. This has been amazing. And like, honestly, like, I think if everyone can just like really listen to this and pay attention to what you're saying, like this is just amazing. You've been there. You were the shy kid. You got over it through friends. And now you have a partner who like fully shares your nerdom, right? Yeah. So I think this is super inspiring for everyone. And everybody watching and listening, leave a comment or send me a comment to dm@roll28.com or roll28 everywhere. Maybe we can bring Pete back if you have any questions, or if you have questions for past or future guests, just let me know. I'm going to tag Pete and leave all the links in the description as well, so you can follow him. He's got lots of lore on Lord of the Rings, so make sure you follow him.
And if you ever want to ask a question about Lord of the Rings, absolutely. If you ever want to have me back, I can always talk about the bad side of relationships too that I've had in my past. But like, I really appreciate you having me, Alex. It's fun to talk about this because this is something that's very important to me as well, because it's taken years. It takes years sometimes to get to a place. But I really do believe strongly in we should do our best to help each other out. And that's why I wanted to be on here so much, because I figured, exactly that.
I really appreciate it, man. Take care, and everyone else also take care. Looking for a player too? I've interviewed hundreds of nerds and learned what really works. Download your data-backed guide with real stories, actionable tips, and a step-by-step system for finding love the nerd way at daylikeanerd.com/reality.